Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded 8 o'clock newscast. A downtown retail merchants association was once a strong coalition in Clinton, and Clinton Mayor Helen Michalasi would like to see a similar effort started again. The mayor told Regional Radio she and city administrator Tony Harris are going to begin getting together with downtown business owners and about such an effort to return to Clinton.
I refer to it as a retail merchants association. I don't know what the merchants will end up calling it, but we have talked about it at the city level. Tony Harris, city administrator, and I have talked about it extensively. And we're going to go out and start talking to retailers on the square and in the community as a whole and ask them if they would participate in a meeting to organize a retailers association for the city of Clinton. There used to be one here some time ago. It was really active. They had a lot of participation from the merchants. They agreed on a lot of things. They did things like, okay, it's Christmas. We're going to be open late on Fridays till 8 o'clock. We're going to celebrate this at Christmas time. We're going to do this on the square or that on the square or throughout the community. And I know we have one or two merchants on the square that have talked to me, and they're very excited about the idea of this. So I think as a member of the city, I would say Tony and I would be happy to sort of get everybody together, put out some cookies and punch and say, okay, come on and let's talk about this. But it's not our thing.
It has to be
merchants,
theirs. Yeah.
It's the retailers. We would be happy to facilitate that, and we will absolutely be happy to provide any support we can once it's up and running. It really needs to be from and by the merchants. They don't need us coming in telling them what to do.
Mayor Michalasi hopes a retail merchants association would bring about continuity among the downtown businesses, but says it would have to be on them to lead the effort.
I think there is, because I think it brings about a continuity and a camaraderie among merchants and retailers, business people in the community, that they have each other's back. That if I don't have it, I'll tell you about them. If you're in my store, I'm going to tell you about that store. If it's a Saturday and you're here from out of town and you went here, then now you'll go there. And also because good ideas come in groups. They don't come in silos. When you get a group of people together, good things happen.
In an effort of this kind, an effort of this kind were to get off the ground, Mayor Michalasi hopes it would prompt growth in downtown and across the community.
I think it prompts growth across the community, on the square and other places. Because if you're in town and you're shopping and things are booming and going because of a merchants association, and they have that kind of power to do that, then it helps the whole community grow. Because people want to move to, work in, settle in, open a business in a positive, vibrant community. And those vibrant communities happen in large part because of those merchants who are already here. And the more they come together, the more that can offer that potential.
The mayor is encouraging residents to shop in Clinton whenever possible and support the businesses in our community. A Piatt County nonprofit is celebrating a program being able to stay in place thanks to the generosity of a group of community members. Tony Kirkman is the executive director of the Piatt County Mental Health Center and told Regional Radio on Monday the ROSC program, or recovery-oriented system of care, was set to be defunded.
The state of Illinois gave us 6 calendar days notice that they were discontinuing funding for our Piatt County ROSC services. So that means that we had to bring everything down by the end of June. And as we were starting to decommission everything, we had a phone call from a private community member inquiring about why the end of services, and if there was a chance to sustain outside funding, could we continue to keep providing like services for Piatt County? And so through a couple of more phone calls within about a period of 48 hours, came to light that these private funders were able to secure funds that will enable us to continue to provide recovery support services for an entire fiscal year for Piatt County ROSC. So we are super thankful and blown away by the generosity of our community.
Kirkman indicates that around $70,000 of the $110,000 needed to run the program are salaries and benefits, while the other $40,000 are for things to support the program.
A majority of the fee goes into workforce, so we have to maintain one full-time equivalent. And so between the pay, the fringe benefits, which, health insurance is very, very expensive for our employees, pay time off, all of that, you're looking at an employee package plus the supervision. That's about $70,000 when you put all of that together. And I know it sounds like a huge salary, but it really isn't when you put all those other attributes to it. And then the remaining $40,000 is for outward-facing services. So that is for our travel, transportation, for our recovery support workbooks for groups. We have a lot of sober rec activities. We have a lot of community communication campaigns that exist throughout the entire community, and then a lot of resource guides, service linkage activities for our service providers. So all in all, it's about, give or take, $95,000 to $100,000 to put the program on for an entire fiscal year.
For Kirkman, the ROSC program has without a doubt been a net positive for Piatt County.
Oh, I think 100%. I think one is I can say that due to the ROSC efforts that have taken place in Piatt County, we've been able to say for the first time in the last 10 months, there have been 0 fatality overdoses. I attribute a lot of that to our harm reduction, our naloxone distributions, and just linking people up to recovery support services in whatever stage of recovery. So I don't ever want to put a price tag on a life, but I can tell you that objectively, lives have been saved in Piatt County because of these efforts. In addition to the 10, 20, 30 people that we've been able to link up to inpatient treatment facilities, or the many more that we're able to come alongside them and help them maintain their sobriety. So, somebody asked me, what do I think the impact would be for this program? And I could say easily 150 individuals if you talk about the entire continuum of recovery support.
Kirkman is very proud of the community and believes it shows the community effort it takes to support one another. Local outdoor authorities are passing along some safety reminders after an eventful weekend on Clinton Lake. On the WHOW Morning Show Monday, DNR Conservation Police Officer Noah Workman told Regional Radio they had a vehicle submerged at one of the boat access ramps over the weekend. He is imploring boaters to be careful and remember, safety first.
Oh, man, I'm glad you asked. There was not talking about like any violations or stuff. It was what we've noticed and what we've had, especially this past weekend, has just been an uptick in just people just neglecting safety and not thinking things through. I was going to talk to you, or I was going to talk about something as, a lot of boaters might think it's simple, but there's a little bit of a process. And I think I talked about it Memorial Day as far as loading and unloading your boat off its trailer, at a boat ramp, and things to kind of keep in mind as you're doing that as far as safety. And it's on the Clinton Lake Facebook, but yesterday we had a truck submerge out at Clinton Lake off the Scoot boat ramp. He was loading his boat on, and I think he said his boat was a little bit crooked on his bunk, so he decided to back in a little bit to kind of center it and get it ready to go. And his truck just kept sliding back, and he bailed out of the truck fortunately in time, and he was unhurt.
Mm-hmm.
There was no medical emergency, but he was able to get out, and his boat pulled his truck, and it was fully submerged, and they had to call the dive team and the tow companies to come out and pull the submerged truck trailer and the boat out of the ramp.
Tragedy struck Lake Shelbyville this weekend when a person drowned at the lake. While he did not know the circumstances of that situation, Officer Workman notes Clinton Lake saw a drowning a few years ago and encourages boaters to not chase their boats if they come loose and float out to the water.
This past weekend in Lake Shelbyville, they had a drowning, and then the year prior we had a drowning out at Clinton Lake. Both very similar. If your boat happens to get loose from you, whether you didn't tie it off correctly on a dock and it starts to float away, or something's malfunctioning and you've got it off of a boat ramp, if it's not an emergency, don't go swimming after the boat. Flag somebody down to help retrieve your watercraft if it's abandoned, if it's on its own. You're both in this situation of last year with the jet ski. It was in a no wake. It was near the ramp, probably no more than 50 yards off the ramp, and a gentleman went swimming after his watercraft and he drowned. And I don't know the specifics of Shelbyville's, but it kind of sounded like something similar where a boat was tied to a dock, got loose, started going out, and somebody went out swimming for their boat and submerged and never came up. I can speak for the jet ski incident a year or two ago. And I interviewed, because I was there, and I interviewed the victim's wife who witnessed it. And she said her husband was a good swimmer, and she attempted to throw a life preserver to him as he was swimming out towards her, and he just went under and never came back up. And so and from experience, open water swimming is way different than swimming in a swimming pool.
Yes.
So there's a lot of factors with open water swimming versus swimming in a controlled swimming pool. Just the way the water's moving and temperature, all that. There's a lot of factors that go into it. So yeah, if you have an abandoned watercraft and something happens, either wear a life jacket if you're going to swim, or flag somebody down. Don't panic. The boat is going to float. There's nothing. The boat is not worth your life. Take your time, think it through before you panic and just go swimming after it. It's not worth it.
Where Officer Workman reports Clinton Lake has seen very few issues this summer. Proactive in enforcement of life jacket safety, particularly among youth. He is encouraged to see good compliance on that front this summer as well. The Illinois Department of Natural Resources is confirming a black bear sighting in northwest Illinois. Chris Jaquez is the agency's large carnivore program manager.
This is kind of an annual event now, or an annual expectation anymore, that the summer months for Illinois' purposes is, bear season. And we expect that we're going to have some sightings across the state, and those sightings have only increased in recent years as well. So we just try to get out in front of it each spring to let the people of Illinois know that they may expect to see a bear or two running around the state, particularly during the summer months, May and into June and July, when bears are out there doing what they do. They come out of hibernation in the early spring, and they just kind of move about the landscape in May and June and into July, which is the breeding season for bear. Across most of their range, and you would expect that they're on the move, either looking for food, looking for mates, or in the case of sows, they're just kind of taking their cubs throughout their home ranges, acquainting them with where they live, and trying to get those cubs to familiarize themselves and with where it is that they live.
The sightings have been in Carroll and Joe Davies counties. Get news anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com. That's DeWitt County's #1 source for news, police blotter, obituaries, and information anytime. It's always free at DeWittDailyNews.com. Stay with us. A look at local sports comes your way next. In sports today, White Sox winners again, their first 4-game win streak since last year. That story in sports next.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace now offers free assembly and free delivery, so it's never been easier to get a great grill for your family, like a Weber gas grill, a Traeger wood pellet grill, or a Big Green Egg charcoal grill. Only at your neighborhood Ace. Around the block. What you need in stock. With people who know their grills.
This is Brad from Gibson Ace Hardware in Clinton, Illinois. Stop in to see us, the helpful place at 114 North Madison Street, Clinton.
See participating store for details.
Are you looking for a new doctor? Someone who makes you feel heard? At Memorial Care, our primary care physicians and advanced practice providers do more than checkups. They also check in, listening to your needs, discussing your health trends, and advocating for you, especially when you notice a change. They're people you can trust, from a trusted healthcare leader. Memorial Care. Real care. Real connections. Learn more at memorial.health/primary care.
This tip of the hat for all the awards the area 4-Hers won at this year's fairs comes from the State Bank of Piatt in Piatt and Monticello. It's a year's worth of work, but the accomplishments and awards you've earned make it worth it. Congratulations to our local 4-Hers for their awards at this year's fairs from the ownership, management, and staff at the State Bank of Piatt in Piatt and Monticello. Bank where you belong. Member FDIC.
With SRN Sports, I'm Andrew Stewart. Yesterday's baseball winners, Edmundo Sosa's teammates on the Philadelphia Phillies, mobbed him beyond first base after a 3-2 walk-off win over the Boston Red Sox. In the moment, it didn't matter to him that he had gotten there thanks to a call of catcher's interference. Sosa won the game when, with the bases loaded and no one out in the 10th inning, his check swing on a 2-2 pitch struck the glove of catcher Carlos Narvaez. The Phillies dugout called for a review, which showed the contact, allowing Sosa to take first and automatic runner Brandon Marsh to score the winning run. Other interleague winners, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Milwaukee, and the Dodgers. In the American League, Cleveland, Toronto, and the White Sox all winners. In the National League, San Diego and St. Louis. This is SRN Sports. U.S. Olympic leaders urging Congress to set minimum spending limits for Olympic programs.
U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee leaders are pushing lawmakers for tweaks to legislation that would regulate college sports by adding guarantees that schools will spend the same percentage on